All right, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our Leadership Thursday. My name is Paul Credo, and I'm here with Cheryl Morley from the beach.
Hi there.
Hi,
so
Cheryl.
happy to be here today. Hello.
You look like you're living intentionally over there.
I am living intentionally.
That is awesome, because that is our topic for today, is the law of intentionality, which is growth leadership law number 1. So we're starting a new book called The 15 Laws of Growth. And I forgot to write down the subtitle for the book. Who's got that in the chat real quick? I really love it. And I'm not going to start without reading it to everybody here. Here we go. Live them and reach your potential. That's like all I need to read. Like I get to the front cover, I'm excited already, and I haven't even opened the book yet. So it's all about potential. As a matter of fact, at the top of the notes here, because I was so excited about the subtitle, Live Them and Reach Your Potential, and let me go ahead and share my screen here so Cheryl can follow along. I wrote the potential, the definition. I always love, Cheryl and I always love going to Mr. Webster and asking him what that word means. But it's having or showing you capacity to become or develop into something in the future, which all of us have. So I love starting off my little circle thing with potential. Every single person has unlimited potential. So that's where we start from. So if you didn't know you had potential before, you know it now, because you absolutely can do whatever you put your mind to. And I love this, Cheryl, primarily because I'm all about Elevate, that growth is the only guarantee that tomorrow's going to be better.
Yeah, that is awesome. I love that. Well, you know why? Because I also think it gives all of us, everyone, hope, right? Because tomorrow will be better if you grow today. Wow. Okay. Well, that just makes a lot of sense, and it's very clear. I've got clarity on that how tomorrow will be better is if I grow today. So that's it.
Absolutely.
I love that.
And I know Caroline did the Daily Dose call this morning and talked about living by design. So it's all ties into this intentionality of planning out what you're going to do for today. Now, Cheryl, what, in your opinion, what would be the worst question to ask yourself? Or anybody? You can put it in the chat here. I like to see what other people's opinion is on the worst question to ask yourself.
I have no idea. What's the worst question I could ask myself?
What should I do now? I'll even top that though. There's one actually worse than that. What do I feel like doing now? Boy, what do I feel like doing now? Because now you're not even using your thoughts anymore. You're just using your emotions. And we talked last week about how you can't let your emotions dictate your thoughts. You have to make having very intentional positive thoughts so that you have great emotions, which are going to lead to great action, which is going to lead to phenomenal results. But if any of those things are turned into a different direction, you're not going to be successful. So it's super, super important that we're making sure our thoughts are dictating our emotions, and that we're not asking ourselves, what should I do now? It's, what am I going to do tomorrow is the question. Because if you're asking what you got to do now, you're too late. You have to take 20 minutes to figure out what to do. And there's so many different options, and you're not even sure what's the most important thing. So super, super, super important to be intentional. So I love this picture here. It's all about all this stuff down here. Is nobody sees this. And I know everybody in this group, in this community of the coaching program, is working on all of these things. So, and I'm so proud of all of you for doing all of this and knowing that maybe the iceberg on top hasn't showed up yet, but it's going to, because of all the work I've been doing down here. And then Cheryl and I were just talking a little while ago that my favorite quote, or our favorite quote, is what you do in the dark is what puts you in the light. So when we say
Yes.
that, we're talking about doing these things down here. That's what's going to make success, is doing these things on a daily basis. So I love that. Speaking of sacrifice is one of the things here. Cheryl, I love the story about John, how he purchased that $799 program.
Oh my gosh. And he's so cute. He says, I purchased the $799 program, which is not a little, that's a lot of money. And he said, and I made $800 a month. And I was like, oh my gosh. So it's a whole month's salary. And it took him so he went home, talked to his wife about it, and they decided that it was super important. And he let her know how important he thought it was. And it took them 6 months to save for it. And they did everything. He skipped lunches. They, cut corners wherever they could. They had a family vacation planned and they canceled it. And I was like, oh my gosh, but just to think about like how important that was to him, he was willing to do whatever it took. That's when he was speaking. That's what I thought. I thought he was willing to do anything and everything to get this, and then he showed us the cassettes
Yeah.
and all of the
Now,
different things, right? The plan.
Now, he didn't actually mention what program it was though, right?
I think he did say what it was.
Oh.
But
I always thought it was
know
a
that-
Jim Rohn program, but
Oh, really? Oh, I
Yeah.
don't know. He didn't ever say it was Jim Rohn, but he
Right.
just said it was a growth program.
yeah. So when he bought it back then, when he bought it at 24,
Yes.
so it had to be Jim Rohn or somebody, but Napoleon Hill,
Yeah.
one of those programs.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we speaking on that, so Cheryl and I, we spent a lot more than $799. I think I did some quick math, like $30,000 this year. Actually way more than that, but between all the coaches that we have and all the seminars I go to and things, but you can see it. That's, people always say, Paul, you're so smart. You're so this, you're so that, you're so great. Well, I wasn't born this way. I was a C student in high school. I'm not like super smart at all, but I'm super intelligent. I'm super intentional on doing personal growth every day. And you can, wherever you are now, you can grow yourself to a level 10. Whatever your problem is or thing you're trying to overcome or get to, like 5-star. 5-star is this hard. It's set. That doesn't change, doesn't all of a sudden get harder. The requirements from 5-star are the same. They're here. So maybe you're here right now. So you can grow. This is not going to grow. But as you grow, you're going to be bigger than 5-star. And then you're going to become 5-star because of the person you became along the way. That's why this personal growth on a daily basis is everything. There's the largest network marketing company in the world is Amway. They still do over $10 billion a year in sales. Now you mentioned the word Amway around anybody and they like want to run from you. It's like a swear word. But you meet anyone inside Amway and they'll tell you it's the best company in the world. It changed my whole life. And they base the whole thing on personal growth. It's just a great culture for personal growth. And you can see a lot of the successful people who leave Amway, go start other companies or work in other companies. They're the most successful people in that company because of what they learned from personal growth. And they just do a lot of Jim Rohn and John Maxwell and everything we're doing here. It's not anything special they're doing there, but they're just committed to personal growth, which is the absolute key. So tomorrow, just for those of you that are interested in becoming a better leader, that's what we're all about here. There's a one day a year that John Maxwell puts on his own convention. It's called Live to Lead. So I put a link there. I know Caroline's going, and I know a couple of the people were looking at it. So if you're interested in going, we can start a little Facebook group there or something, or message and attend that. It's only from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. tomorrow. So it's only 4 hours long. It's like $100, but it's all about, any chance I get to grow, I'm there. I mean, I haven't missed this in at least 21 years. I've never missed a Live to Lead event. And I usually go to them live. This one's virtual, and I'm not even sure they're allowing people to go to Atlanta still, but and they actually usually have places around the country that show this event so people can get together with groups. So hopefully by next year, everything will be really back to normal. We can plan an event someplace like at the beach, and we can live broadcast it there. And so we'll get an event together for that, because I just think this is a fantastic event. So 2 key questions, and I think I lost Cheryl.
No, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here.
What are our 2 key questions, Cheryl?
Well, the first one is what are you doing to develop yourself? Which is super important. And then the other one is, what are you doing to develop others? And Paul, I know you and I were talking about this earlier, and it's so interesting to me that those 2 questions we can answer because of our chosen path, right? Because of the work that we do. Because we are at Youngevity, right? Then we can answer those 2 questions easily. I can answer them easily. In fact, I was asking those questions to a couple of other people that aren't in Youngevity, and they can answer, what are they doing to develop yourself? They can answer that. It wasn't, certainly on the level that we're doing, but what are you doing to develop others? And they're like, oh, nothing, right? Because how do you develop other people if you are not in network marketing, right? It's just so amazing. That's why I just love this industry. I love that this is one of the key things that we do, is develop ourselves and others.
Yeah. I mean, we talk about our number one need. There's 6 human needs. Number one need is growth. So what are you doing to develop yourself, to grow yourself? And then what are you doing to develop others means you're contributing to other people. You're helping them grow, which is the best gift you can give to somebody, is help them elevate, become better than they were yesterday. So, man, it's so awesome listening to John and reading these books, because every single thing he says, it sounds simple, but he's thought this through for 100 hours and thought of the perfect, what are the 2 key questions, and he will literally sit there for days and think of them. But this is absolutely spot on, that you have to ask yourself these 2 questions and get obsessed with these 2 questions every single day. And this is what's going to change your business around. If you're going to grow, it has to be intentional. So Cheryl, let's talk about the 8 growth gaps, because I know you love this part of the lesson here.
Oh, I love it, because look at number 1, Paul, the assumption gap. That was me. Oh, I just assumed that I will grow automatically. In fact, I didn't even know it was important to grow. I thought you are who you are, and that's it. And so just, and I love these gaps, because I think all of us, and I would love for you guys to just kind of look at these, and as Paul and I go through them, really think about where you have the gap, right? Like, where do you have the gap? I definitely had the gap of the assumption gap, because I just thought you're going to grow automatically, or it wasn't even a big deal or whatever, right? But just think about that, and then maybe even put them in, between 1 and 8, which one is, are you working on, or which one is the hardest for you, or, where is it that you're struggling? Because I think, remember, my whole thing, and it's getting much more lately, is if you have clarity on where you're struggling, you will be able to fix it. If you don't, you won't, right? If you have no idea, where you're struggling, how on earth are you going to be able to overcome those things? So I love that. So be thinking about that, you guys, as we go through these. So yes, assumption gap is the first one.
Let's first acknowledge the fact that there's 8 of them, which if there's 8 of anything, it's just phenomenal.
It's just right, Paul.
All these 8 are just phenomenal. So the first and second one are the 2 biggest ones. The second one is what, Cheryl?
The knowledge gap. I don't know how to grow, right?
Yeah.
I have no idea how to grow.
That's got to
But then,
be huge in people's minds out there, that I don't grow. I don't get into personal growth because I have no idea how to do it.
yes,
And we don't do anything in life unless we know how to do it.
right. That's absolutely right. But I love that John lays it out for us exactly how to do it too.
Yeah. This is really what the book's about, is this knowledge gap on how to grow. So I just love this book.
Yep. So number 3 is the timing gap. It's not the right time to begin. I've got a few more things I need to learn. I've got a few more things I need to do. This is happening. That's happening. It's so funny. I have to tell you something that reminds me of the timing gap. So I had a friend of mine send me a text today. Listen to what it says, but it goes along with this because this is the timing gap. It's not the right time to begin. And it doesn't have to do with this. It has to do with weight loss, but it is like my favorite thing. So I have to read it to you, Paul, because you guys are going to see what I mean when I say about the timing gap, that the time is just not quite right. And this is funny too. So listen to this. She said, Cheryl, I was going to start dieting today, but Halloween's coming up, then Thanksgiving and holiday baking. And before you know it, it's barbecue season again. And I'm not about to turn down a cheeseburger. So, right, we can come up with like
You're making this
1,000.
up.
No, I'm not. She really sent it to me as a joke because we've been talking about her starting the keto plan, and that's what she sent me. And I said, yeah, girl, that ain't going to do it. Like, no way. But it's the timing gap, right? So we could come up with a million things. It's not the right time to begin. Well, it is almost Halloween. I mean, we could say the same thing about this, about the whole coaching program. We could say the same thing about helping people get healthy. Well, I just need to learn one more thing. I'm not quite sure how to explain everything that Dr. Wallach explains. So I have a friend of mine who, Paul, you've worked with her too, and she's lovely. We just absolutely love her, but she's never ever in, 6 years felt like she can start helping anyone because she just doesn't know enough.
Right.
Right. So amazing. So that's the timing gap.
Yeah. And there is
the
no
next
tomorrow. That's the whole punchline to this whole thing, is that you got to do it today. Today matters.
Yeah. Start. Okay. The next one's a great one. The mistake gap. I'm afraid of making mistakes. Right. And
It's
think with
funny on
that,
the other side of the, where we are, Cheryl, because it's like the mistakes are the only way to get there.
right. Well, that's the fun thing, right? I mean, the only way that you're going to learn and grow and become who you need to become is by making mistakes.
Yeah.
There's no way around it. There's literally no way around it. So just,
Yeah. John wrote a great book called Fail Faster.
Yeah. And just, embrace it.
Yeah. It's so great. The next one's another good one.
Oh, it's a great one. The perfection gap. Oh, I have to find the best way before I start. Yes. I need to sit and think about that for a year, about finding the best way.
But it's so interesting, the journey that Cheryl and I have been on the past 5 years, that, we've had different ideas along the way. And we would never have thought of the Institute of Holistic Health, which, by the way, we've been told by multiple people, not in longevity, in the industry, that is the most brilliant thing ever created in network marketing. So this is
true.
huge, but we would have never, ever got here or dreamt of doing this unless we made like 15 mistakes first on figuring out the best way to build a longevity business. We have, we have this, and this, we have all these great pieces, but it just seemed for a long time that we couldn't put it all together until now. That's what the coaching program has done, is put everything that's great about longevity together in one place, and presented it in a way, or positioned it in a way that makes it a true profession. I love Eric Worre. I love the movement of, I'm a professional network marketer. So I love that whole thing, but how do we take that to the next level? And it's a certification. It's becoming an expert in health and wellness, and being a certified holistic health coach is the highest level you can get to.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. And it's not like we just all of a sudden did the health coaching program. We had everything else that came before it, right? And so so what if we would have never started any of it? Then we would definitely not be here,
Oh,
right? We had to
right.
go through tons of different steps.
And I know everyone loves the coaching program and everything, but now after Cheryl and I rewatched it, we don't like it at all. So we're already working on version number 2. That's going to be 10 times better than version number 1 was. So,
Right.
but we would have never made version number 2 had we not made version number 1 yet, and have gone through this experience on what should have been changed in there, or what should have been added, or whatever. So, it's all about getting away from this perfection thing or this mistake thing and just going, because along the way you're going to learn. And it's that whole headlight thing we talked about the other day, where you only can see like 200 feet in front of you. You just have to go with faith and move in that direction, and literally figure it out as you go.
Right. That's absolutely right. Now, the next one I really like, Paul, because it reminds me of my dad and growing up on the farm. Okay, now this one is the inspiration gap. This is the I don't feel like doing it. And I was just, when I was doing this and preparing for this, I saw the inspiration gap and I thought, oh my gosh, that is exactly what used to happen. So we used to have to get up every morning at 4:45 to go out and milk the cows. And I'll never forget. My dad would wake me up, Cheryl, it's time to get up. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, Dad, I don't feel like doing it. And he said, and I'll never forget, he always used to say, and what does that have to do with anything? And
I
it was
think we've
like,
all heard that
oh,
line once or twice. Yeah.
yeah. And I'm like, oh, well, I guess nothing. He said, that's right. The cows don't milk themselves. Get up and get out there. And it's the same way. Dr. Wallach was the same, was the same way. Oh, I don't feel like it. Oh, no, it doesn't have anything to do with how you feel. It has to do with what needs to be done and what has to get done for each of us to create the life that we really want. That's what it has to do with, not how you feel.
Well, I agree 1,000% with you and John, but I'm also going to say that who's deciding how you feel about personal growth? You are.
Yeah,
You're
you
the
are.
person that decides how you're going to feel. So it's just deciding that I love personal growth. I love doing it, and taking on that new attitude towards it. It's all how you look at it, the meaning you're giving to whether it's working on the farm or doing personal growth or whatever it is in the world, exercising. What does exercise mean? Pain. That's how, it means hard work, then you're not going to do it. I love it. I'm addicted to it. The feeling I get from exercising is unparalleled. There's nothing else that I can do that's going to give me that feeling. So,
well, not only that, but can you imagine how good you're going to look? That's what I do.
Yeah, that's a huge part of it.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
But even the cold plunge every day. I mean, I'm not thinking about the pain of going in the water. I'm thinking about the pleasure of how I'm going to feel all day long, because I hit the reset button and I feel fantastic now.
Right.
So it's not that I don't feel like doing it today, but I'm going to do it anyway. That's really not how I operate, because I've been able to rewire my brain. I just want to do it. And I've wired my brain to do the things I love to do most, or that I need to do most.
Well, that's what we need to do. We need to rewire our brain and look at it like that. And believe me, I can say for sure that I can rewire my brain to think about growth in this better way. Milking the cows, not so much. Okay. So that was a lot more.
You get up, the cows, you get to see the sunrise, you get to, gotta
okay, let's move on.
Paint that picture.
Comparison gap. The comparison gap. Others are better than I am. Oh.
Yeah. Well, now who should you compare yourself to?
Yourself.
Yesterday's version of yourself.
Right.
So there was yesterday's version of Paul, and then there's today's version of Paul. And today's version has to be better than yesterday's version. That's all I think about all day long. So it's not you versus anybody else. It's always you versus you. That is the only game there is in the world. There is no competition between any of us. It's you versus you. That's it.
Right. Absolutely. And I love that you just need to be better than yesterday. So the last one, number 8, is the expectation gap. I thought it would be easier than this. And I love John. He's like, it's hard. Everything you want is hard. It's all hard. It's uphill. Anything worth having is hard. And that's okay. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And that's so true. But guess what? That is okay. I'm like totally fine with that. But it's certainly not that you think, oh, well, it's going to be easy. You have the expectation that, hey, this is going to take some work. It's going to be hard. And that's okay. Just like my sister always tells my little nephew, we can do hard things.
Yeah. So kind of the process that I've gone through in my life is, first of all, I thought this would be easier, but I'm a Marine. I'm a fight through it, make it happen kind of guy. So that's how I started. Then it was more about changing your mindset that this is easy. Everything's easy. So I was trying to rewire my brain that direction, which didn't work very well. But then I'm like, okay, it's hard, and I'm just going to embrace the hard, like Cheryl just said. But the level I've gotten to now, which I love, is that I'm looking for hard stuff to do, and I'm loving it. Like, I love when I do hard stuff. So I'm absolutely calling it hard, but this whole David Goggins thing, I'm just obsessed with. It's do hard things every single day. Do something that is painful every day and love it. Like, I can put that in my cookie jar now. It's all about cookie jar, right, Cheryl?
Yeah, it is. And it's building and I think as your cookie jar grows, so does your self-confidence, which is what each of us, I think, really need to make sure that we're working on, every day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I love this line we put here in the notes, that if you are clear on what you want and really who you are, the world will respond with clarity.
I like that.
Why are you laughing,
sure
Cheryl?
Do. Because I just love that. And because it's exactly what I said, right? Clarity is the most important thing that we can have, and to be willing to get clear on things. Because sometimes I will say it's easier to say, I don't know, and to be confused.
Oh, seeking clarity is the hardest thing you'll ever do in your life. There is nothing harder than that. I mean,
right. I love everybody on this call, Paul, because I think everybody on this call is willing to do that.
Yeah.
And they're in the process of growing and of seeking clarity in their own lives to live that, that great life that they want. And I think that it's just, it's so commendable, because let me tell you, not everyone is doing that.
Exactly.
So,
all right. Well, what's the game plan for this intentional growth plan here, Cheryl?
Oh, I love it. Okay. So make a commitment to intentionally grow. So first you have to make a commitment. And number 2 is a little interesting to me. So make that commitment public, which is so, that is amazing to me, because, you can just make a commitment, but if you don't make it public, then John says it's worthless.
Yeah. I'm going to take that one further in step number 6, but that is super important part.
Okay, perfect. Number 3 is identify the areas you want to grow in. At least 2, but no more than 5. John only picked 2. He picked a skill, and he picked something that he can control. And he started with his attitude, which I loved. And so he said that he just did that. And then you invest 1 hour every day on personal growth. Paul says 6 days a week. John said 7. And yes.
Well, there's a reason why I put 6.
Oh, because the 7th day is when you're going to write and jot and journal and do all of that.
Right.
Okay. So the 6 days a week, you're going to preparation, practice, and reflection. I should do what John did. Preparation, practice, and reflection. Preparation, practice, and reflection. Preparation, practice, and reflection. And he said it like literally 10 times. And I was like, Oh, I'm pretty sure that I have that memorized now. So yeah, so you're doing all three of those things, and that's 1 hour every day, 6 days a week. And then number 5 is invest 1 hour a week to reflect on what you are learning. And that's where we jot and journal, which I love jot and journal because it's very hard for me to journal. I've never been, I've never um, it doesn't come easy to me. So I love that he says, every day he doesn't journal, but he jots down 5 or 6 words that day that were very important to him, that have made a difference to him that day. And then Paul's saying that on Sunday, then you need to take all those words. Now you have 5 or 6 words for every day. And so then you're going to write a little bit on each of those words and what they meant to you and why did you jot them down? Like what did it have? What was the meaning of why you wanted to jot that down? So you just want to write that down, and that's the journaling part. And then Paul, I'll let you do the number 6.
Well, what I just wanted to give everyone a tip. So what I do is I use Kindle. So you can, have a Kindle. You can read the Kindle on your phone. You can read the Kindle on your computer. Kindle's every place. But when you use the Kindle read, you can highlight as you go along, because sometimes taking notes is time consuming or you don't want to do it. So you can highlight things. And what it does is it creates a note for you of that highlight you just made. So it turns that into a note, a thing. And if you want to make a couple comments about that, you can do that too, which I'll go in and jot down something that's on my mind real quick about that little passage, that sentence or two that I just highlighted. And lo and behold, every single chapter I read, there's 5 or 6 things I've highlighted at least. And I get to, so I don't need to go back through the book to try to find out what I highlighted, especially after I read the whole book. It would take me forever. So Kindle's nice enough to list all those things in order and actually provide hyperlinks. So if you touch on that, it would take you back to that place in the book. So I just love technology. I think investing in a Kindle or using the Kindle system is phenomenal. I know Cheryl and I also use Audible, which is fantastic. You can't read the books, at least listen to the books. And there's some new features on Kindle or on Audible I can show you that where you can create a clip and create an audio clip, and they actually transcribe the whole audio book. They already have a book written about it, so not that difficult for Audible to do that. And then they'll give you the notes also of the audio, whatever the transcription is of the audio clip that you just saved. It was the last 10 seconds or whatever, 30 seconds, whatever you want it to be. And then have those notes to review as well. So it's so important to take that little bit of time. And I literally reserve Sundays. I don't do personal growth on Sundays, but I go back through the week, past 6 days. What did I learn? And to reread it one more time cements it. If you're just doing this lesson and this is the last time you look at this, you're just not going to get as much from it. It's taking that time to look at this again on Sunday and say, or the key things, the 5 or 6 things you got out of this class today, and really write down each one of those words or those things you jotted down and what they mean to you. So it's not just enough to, oh, I love that thing that, Cheryl was talking about when she talked about the comparison gap. Well, what do you mean by that? So take time on Sunday to write that out. What does that mean to me? What do I need to do? So, the comparison gap. Oh, what does that mean? Well, to me, it means that, I got to stop doing this. I keep on constantly comparing myself to other people. And Paul was right. It's not a battle of me versus anybody. It's a battle versus me. So just writing those things down brings awareness to that. And I love journaling. I know Cheryl and I both have this thing called Remarkable, which is because I've made a commitment to go paperless in my life, because I was Mr. Paper King for a long time. I was the best person on this planet at shuffling papers from the left side of my desk to the right side of my desk. It was my biggest time investment I had going. So I'm done with that now. And so we write them all electronically. That's a great gift to buy yourself as well. that remarkable. I do all my gratitude journaling in there. I do all of my personal growth journaling in there. And I do all my personal journaling in there. So I take at least 10 minutes a day and I just start writing, about what's going on in my life, and things start coming out on that I didn't even, it's all about gaining clarity and just thinking it through in your mind. Never works. Doesn't work for me. And I guarantee it doesn't work for you either. You got to put pen to paper and start writing, and stuff will come out that you didn't even know was there. And it'll bring a whole new level of awareness to your life. All right, Cheryl. So we got to get excited.
Well, did you say talk about share your growth with someone?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm so excited. I want to let's get excited. Yeah. Share your growth with someone. So getting back to that and going back to number 2, or make that commitment public. What I highly recommend everybody do is, we're always talking about making good Facebook posts. So literally saying, hey, today I read, another chapter in this book, or I read the first chapter in the 15 laws of growth, and here's what I got out of it. And just make a Facebook post on that, and maybe put a little picture of the 15 laws of growth or something from Google that you found, or make up some image yourself, whatever. But if you grow every day and be like, okay, I'm going to make a post based on what I mean, that's the best Facebook post in the world to make, because you're adding value to other people. They're going to comment on that, and they're going to look to you now as someone who's super smart. Now, it's going to take a while for everyone to catch on and for you to get more followers and things because of that, but you will be known as the personal growth person, and everybody wants to grow. So you're going to say things that touch people in a different way. Get stuff you don't usually read on Facebook. So I love the idea of committing to a post a day on what I learned today. That's not just sharing with someone, it's sharing with the whole world. It doesn't
That's a great tip, Paul.
Doesn't need to be a book. It just little passage on what I got out of that, and keep it snippy. Or better yet, shoot a Facebook Live. Hey, today I just, read chapter number 1 in 15 laws of growth. Here's what I got out of it. 5-minute video. Don't even make no 20-minute thing here. Just 5 minutes. And that will get you miles and miles ahead of everybody else in the world. And you will have more health coaches on your team in the next year or 2 than you ever could imagine, by doing that one thing. Okay, Cheryl, let's get excited.
That. Yeah, get excited. Hey, listen, that is what we need to do. Yeah, energy levels up. We need to take some good notes. We need to be coachable. That one there is a very good one.
It really is. I mean, it shouldn't be that profound, but it is, because so many people think they know it all already. I don't need to know anything more. And I've always taken the approach that my glass is empty. I don't know anything. And well, the more you learn, the more you realize you don't know anything. So I'm very coachable. Like I will, I go to everyone that I read and listen to. I'm like, because I have that elevate mindset, what can I do today to get better? So that makes me coachable because of my obsession with elevate. And last but not least, it's about reading 10 pages a day in a good book. We talked about this already up above, where you're spending time and every day on growing yourself. And love what John says here, Cheryl, that over 5 years, you'll be a new person. It goes back to that apple a day will keep the doctor away. Or as John talks about in the Power of 5, where you get the axe and you hit the tree 5 times a day in the same spot, tree is going to fall down. So it's just doing that every single day, being intentional. That's going to make, literally, and the person you'll be in 5 years from now is, you can't even map it, because it's such a, and I'll share this Google spreadsheet with you. But so I did it. If you improve yourself 1% a day, I forgot what the number is after 1 year, but it's astronomical. And then if you do it for 5 years, it's in the trillions. And then, like Google or mathematicians have not even invented a number high enough to where you'd be in 10 years from now. because it just gives a big error message that the number is too big to display. That's how powerful 1% a day does. I mean, we all heard that, those stories about, hey, let's say we bet 10 cents on per hole, but we raise it 10 cents a hole for 18 holes. And it doesn't sound like much, but I forget the analogy, but I think the 18th hole is worth like $585,000.
Yeah, it's like the penny doubled every day.
Yeah,
That's
penny
what it's like.
doubled it. Yeah, it's $4 million. Yeah.
Yeah, because everyone says, well, what would you rather have? And then like at day 15, you're like, oh my gosh, that's so much more than a penny. But you're like, no, you just have to keep going, because $4 million at the end of a month. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's the power of compounding. So that's what can happen here if you commit. So it's super, super important. Anything else you want to add, Cheryl, before we open it up to hear everyone else's comments?
No, I just love this. And I think it's so, so important. Of course, growth is super important. It's become something that I do and that I'm very intentional about and that I love. And I'm just super glad that everybody on this call is doing the same thing and we're doing it as a community. I love that.
Yeah, the community thing is the key. It's this growth environment here, which is another law that's coming up. So,
yes.
All right. Who has a question, comment for today's lesson? What struck you? What are you going to change? What thoughts did this stir up? Debbie.
I love Eleanor Roosevelt's quote about how you need to shape yourself in order to grow and keep on doing it. Don't stop. So
yeah, I love that too.
It's kind of like you're taking this piece of clay and just making a better version of yourself, and you keep on adding nice things. So that's what it's like.
Yes, yes, yes. Great point. All right, let's go over to Becca.
Okay, finally got myself unmuted. So I love the intentional part and being intentionally teachable. If I had not allowed myself to be teachable, I would not have grown, because I would not have been taking part in all of the self-development that I'm taking part in now. That is allowing me just to grow. And I love it. And it's not just grow with my business, but grow mentally and emotionally in being able to, take life intentionally instead of just day by day. So I'm loving this book. I have it on Audible. I will have it listened to at least 3 times by the end of this trip. And I thank you so much for all you do in encouraging and pushing us to.
All right, you're welcome. It was really well said, and she's so right that if you don't allow yourself to be intentionally teachable, coachable, then you won't be able to grow. So super great, and Becca, you're a great example of taking personal growth on and growing yourself to great levels. So congratulations on all your success.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to our host for today. Since Becca's on the road, we have a new host for the moment, Caroline from Colorado.
Here I am in Colorado. Yeah. He threw up some really good quotes that I thought were worth mentioning, where James Allen was saying, people are anxious to improve their circumstances, but are unwilling to improve themselves. Therefore, they remain bound. And there's no growth if you're not going to improve yourself and do the work. So I thought that one was really key. He referenced the log story again, and I love the log story.
Yeah,
and,
log story. Yeah.
Love the log story. And then Robert Schuller saying, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail in the mistake gap? If you would take those chances, that mistakes will happen. It's just another way of doing things. And if you come to expect them and welcome them, then that's a sign that you are trying new things and growing. So just great chapter. I am shocked that you got it all in. There's a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah, there was a lot. And so growing up, I was a big Robert Schuller fan. I watched The Hour of Power with my family every Sunday growing up. Something we did before we went to church. And I remember being just a young kid hearing, what would you do if you knew you could not fail? And it just puts your mind in a whole different place, because we know that fear is the only thing that holds us back. So if there was no fear, what would you do? And that answer is usually awesome. Like it's a really great thing. So I encourage all of you to ask yourself, what would I do if I knew I could not fail? And it's would you write a book? Would you go on tour? What would you do that would just light you up? Great question to ask. Thank you for that, Caroline. And the power of good questions is key. So my big question to myself every day, I try to come up with great questions to myself. The one I'm asking myself now every morning is, what level do you want to play at? Just watching John Maxwell again, and I've been following him for 20 some years. He plays at a level 10. I mean, there's no joke. He plays at such a high level that no one can even compete with him. Like usually there's a conversation in every industry, like, who's the best person? Well, this person is, or that person is close, or this or that. And there's a big, discussion about it. Not in leadership. There's only one name. And yeah, there is no number 2. There's no number 3. There's no number 4, no number 5. It's John Maxwell. He's the greatest ever, period, the end. I don't know any other profession in the world that had one person dominate in that industry like he's dominated in the leadership development industry. So it's picking that industry that you want to, I'm going to be the best health coach ever. I'm going to be the best business ever. So super, super important to think about that. So thank you for that, Caroline. Who else has a comment or question?
We've got lots of fun people on here. Come on now. Who wants to speak up?
Well, type in the chat just to make us feel good that you are going to be intentional on personal growth every day.
Hey, can I say something?
Yes.
Hi, Lorenzo. Yes.
Hi. Hey, I didn't get my book yet, but I did get the Audible, and I had to run out and I listened to it, and I can tell this is gonna be. I'm gonna be definitely intentional, because I got trouble with all 8 areas, and I need to grow in all of them, and I know this is giving me a plan to do it. So I'm so glad and thankful that y'all picked this book and we studying it for this time frame, because this will be a big help in me growing personally and with the business also. So look out.
Hey, we're excited.
I love it. I love that. I love how Lorenzo ends. Look out. That's exactly right. Okay, good. I'm looking at everyone putting down that they're intentional. That's awesome. And you guys, it's so awesome that John has like that little plan, so we can just all follow that and it won't be overwhelming. We've got clarity on exactly what we need to do and how we need to do it. And so we can all start. If we aren't already doing it, we can all start right away.
And there is no tomorrow. So when we say start right away, we mean it.
Yeah, just jump in.
Absolutely. So next week, we're going to talk about the law of awareness. So that's a great law. You must know yourself to grow yourself. Wow.
Oh, great.
Cheryl's
That
like,
sounds like a good one.
you should probably read the one tonight, Cheryl, here. So let's get a jump on that for next week. All right. That was awesome. Hey, listen, Cheryl, we have some big news for Saturday.
Yeah, we do.
What's Saturday?
Don't act like I don't know, Paul, because I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to see if I remember. And just because I'm on a family vacation at the beach doesn't mean that I don't
I
remember.
know you
that
remembered
we've
your
got
cap and
some-
gown when you packed for the
Hey.
beach.
My what? Crap.
Cap and gown.
Oops. Sorry. No, because let me tell you something. I would like to I'll figure out what I'm going to wear. But yes, for the graduation, we've got some wonderful people that are going to be graduating on Saturday. And then I believe that one of those coaches' birthday is on Sunday. So we may need to sing a little happy birthday on Saturday so that she knows that we're going to be thinking about her on Sunday. I'm not going to
Wow.
mention any names, Shelley.
No. You mean our keynote speaker? Yeah.
Exactly.
And Shelly, you did message me and I will message you back, but yes, you are speaking on Saturday.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
we're all singing to you. So
Okay. That
yeah,
would be
she's like,
awesome.
Paul, were you serious about that or just joking around? Like, no, we're serious. we have a 20-minute
Yeah,
slot. I'm just
But
joking.
I better ask. Sure. Yeah.
I know I joke around a lot, but I wouldn't joke around something like that. So looking forward to that. So, I know everyone loved having other people there when they graduated. It's a very, very special day. It really is moves Cheryl and I every single time we attend, and we're the ones hosting it. So it's very emotional and it's awesome. So I highly suggest coming to every single graduation. It's an hour on Saturday. Come in, make yourself known, wear your cool blue t-shirt so that you're an alumni here. And we're gonna have a lot of fun. We're gonna have Dr. Wallach on, obviously, and Stephen Michelle and Cheryl Morley, the one and only Cheryl Morley.
And Paul Croto, the one and only Paul Croto. So yes, we will be there to cheer you on. We're very excited for each of you. I think it's going to be so wonderful. So yeah, we're really looking forward to that.
Yeah. Absolutely. So Becca, do you have something to add to that? What did we forget?
Yes, I do. So for those of you who are here in the States, you should have gotten a text message with the access information for the graduation. If you did not receive that or you're outside of the United States, make sure you go to the HCCC and check the announcements and the posts at the top, because I have put up information about the graduation. There's multiple graphics there, some that you can share with family and friends to announce your graduation, and also want to send through private messaging, please. We want to try to keep this out of any hackers' hands that has the access information specifically for the graduation. So I'm excited for all the graduates. Congratulations. We will see you on Saturday.
Super excited about that. All right, great job, everybody. Be intentional. Have an awesome weekend. See you on Saturday. And then next week, like I said, we're going to be doing Mindset Monday. Tuesdays, we do that. This past Tuesday was phenomenal. So if you missed this past Tuesday, you missed one of the best calls ever. It's our mastermind call where we go over celebrations and challenges and different changes we can make. So I thought this past Tuesday was awesome. And then, of course, Thursday is the best, where we do some leadership development. And we got a great book here. So Cheryl, thank you for all of your input today.
Thank you. I had a
And,
great time.
I
thought that
hope
was
you
so much fun.
enjoy the rest of your afternoon and weekend here.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to the graduation and all of those wonderful health coaches who have taken the step forward and who have just gotten in there and done that. And I'm super excited to celebrate them on Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So Jill, unfortunately, the mastermind was not recorded. Becca did not remind me to do that, so it didn't get done. Again, it's always Becca's fault. If at all possible, I can push it off onto her. I know she's gonna text me in a minute here and chew me out for saying that, but too funny. No, we forgot to hit the record button, so we will do that though from now on Tuesdays. Actually, I think this whole thing got fixed where we can broadcast live again to Facebook. We kind of got away from that because it broke, but I think it's not broke anymore because Linda does it every single day. So hopefully we can get that back up and running. And yeah, we got some big plans. Cheryl, you don't even know about this, but we're actually going to an MP3 version of this on SoundCloud. So we will have the audio available to all these classes as well.
Wow,
Yeah.
I am super excited.
Yeah, we're going to have it available on Apple to download, and it's going to be all over the place.
Super cool.
So yeah, easy. There
We are
multiple
lucky to
ways
have
access this.
Paul as our tech guy.
We have a lot of cool
That's for
things
sure.
working behind the scenes that everyone's going to love.
Yes.
So, all right, have a great
Alrighty.
weekend, everybody. We'll see you on Saturday.
Thank you. Bye.
So I'll mute the lines here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great weekend.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much.